In this video, we are going to be learning about the inverse of functions or inverse functions. Now, we start by learning with this example. If f of x equal to half x minus 3, find the inverse of the function x of x. Okay, so what it implies is that to find the inverse of this function or inverse of x, we have to equate this function to y. When we do that, we change the subject of this equation to x, and after that we'll now see what we are going to do. Let me not list it all at once so that you don't get confused. So our first duty is to change the subject of this equation to x. To change the subject of that formula to x, we have that half of x is now equal to y is already on this side, then the minus 3 crosses over to be a plus 3, right? Okay, then this is half of x. When we multiply both sides by 2, this is just like saying x over 2. When we multiply both sides by 2, we are going to have that 2 times half of x. You mustn't show this side. 2 times y plus 3. This cancels out so that we have that x is equal to 2y plus 3 in a bracket. Okay, so we've changed the subject of this equation to x, right? Then the next thing we have to do is that we are going to say that the inverse of the function of x is equal to, now in this part of the equation we are going to change the y to x. We now have it as 2, and that's all. So by so doing, we have found the inverse of x, the inverse of f of x. We have found it. That's all. Change the subject of the equation to x, and then that equation change all the y's to x. That's all. Given the function f of x equal to 5x minus 2, find the inverse of f of minus 1. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is to find the inverse of f of x. Then we now substitute minus 1 for x in that function, in that inverse function. So we are going to say that the inverse of f of x is that we equate this function 5x minus 2, we equate it to y, and then change the subject of the formula. Okay, changing the subject of this formula, we have that 5x is equal to y, plus 2 crosses over to be minus 2 crosses over to be a plus 2. Then we divide both sides by 5, right? When we do that, we have that x is equal to y plus 2 over 5. Now we've changed the subject of the formula, right? Now the next thing for us to do is now to say that f inverse of x is equal to this part of the equation, this y we change it to x. We have that x plus 2 over 5. And that's also we've changed this. Okay, but that's not the end of the question. The question says that we should find the inverse of f of minus 1. So f inverse of, inverse of minus 1, inverse of f of minus 1 we have. So for every x, we change it to minus 1. Minus 1 plus 2 is 1 over 5. So inverse of minus 1 is equal to 1 over 5. And with this, we are done with this question. You see, it's easy, right? If the function f is such that x is x squared minus 4x is converted to x squared minus 4, where x is a real number, find the inverse of f of 5. Good. So we have that the function f of x is equal to x squared minus 4, right? So we are now to look for, the first thing we have to look for is the inverse of f of x. When we find that, we now substitute 5 for x in that function. Okay, so To find the inverse of f of x, we now equate this to y, right? We have that x squared is equal to y minus 4 crosses over to be a plus 4. Then we take the square root of both sides. We have that x is equal to plus or minus y plus 4, the root of y plus 4. Then, remember that this is not all. We now say that inverse f of x is equal to, then the y changes to x. Therefore, the inverse of f of x is equal to plus or minus square root of x plus 4. We've done this. Then remember, the question is saying the inverse of 5, the inverse of f of 5. So for this, we substitute. We have plus or minus square root of, instead of x, we are going to have 5 there. 5 plus 4. We have this as equal to plus or minus the square root of 9, plus 5 plus 4 is 9. And then we now have that the square root of 9 gives us plus or minus 3. You mustn't put this plus or minus, you can just leave it as square root of this, but we know that the answer to plus or minus is, to the square root of a function is plus or minus that value. If the function f is such that x is converted to 3x plus 4 over x minus 1, where x is not equal to 1, find the inverse of f of 2. Okay, we already know what to do. We write out the function f of x is equal to 3x plus 4 over x minus 1. To get the inverse of f of x first, we have to now equate this part of the function 3x plus 4 over x minus 1. We equate it to y and make x the subject of the equation or formula. To do this, we have to cross multiply, right? We have that 3x plus 4 is equal to y is already here. Then this comes up to be x minus 1 in a bracket. We open up this bracket, we have xy minus y, right, is equal to 3x plus 4. Then we collect all the terms in x to this side. Remember that is what we are doing to change the subject of this equation. We have 3x, the xy comes over as minus xy is equal to minus y is already here, plus 4 crosses over to be minus 4. Then we factorize. We have that x being outside of the bracket is 3, and then minus y remains here. We have this minus y minus 4. Then we divide both sides by 3 minus y. X is equal to minus y minus 4 over 3 minus y. So, we already have this. Now, since this is minus minus and there is a minus here, we can as well change this, but let's just leave it as what it is, because this is not the final value of what we are looking for. Let's just leave it as this. Then, for us to write out the function that the inverse of f of x is equal to, now this will change all the y's to x. We have minus x minus 4 over 3 minus x. So this is the inverse of the function. But that's not all. The question says that we should find the inverse of the function, that is f inverse of f of 2, right? So for our inverse, let me write it up here again. We have that inverse of f of x is equal to minus x minus 4 over 3 minus x. So what we have to do is that inverse of 2 is equal to minus 2, right? Because that's minus x minus 4 over 3 minus 2. We've substituted 2 for x in both sides and this side. So we have minus 2 minus 4 is minus 6. 3 minus 2 is 1. Therefore, inverse of f of 2 is equal to negative 6. That's all. Okay, I hope you understand so far. Now we are going to look into this example. We have that f of x is equal to 2x minus 3. And then we are now to show that inverse of f of x is equal to inverse of f of x of f of x. Forget about the confusion, but we understand what we are to look for. Okay, so let us find the inverse of f of x first. We have to do that, we have that the inverse of f of x implies 2x minus 3 equal to y. Then we make x the subject formula. We have that 2x is equal to y plus 3. And then we divide both sides by 2. We have that x is equal to y plus 3. Then inverse of f of x is equal to x plus 3, right? Good. Now, remember that this is what we are to prove. To prove this, we have to solve for f inverse of x. We are told to show that it's equal to f inverse of f of x. Yeah, we have to show that this is equal to this. We can solve it at the same time, and we can solve it separately. So let me try to solve it at the same time. Let's solve it separately to avoid confusion. The naming it is already confusing. So f of inverse of f of x is equal to, we have that inverse of f of x is x plus 3. Then we had that f of x is 2x minus 3. So wherever we see x in that equation, we have to put in this. We have that this is equal to 2x plus 3, right? Minus 3. We open up these brackets to have 2x plus 6 minus 3, right? We have this is equal to 2x plus 3. And then on this other side, we have that to find the inverse of f of x is equal to inverse of f of x is 2x minus 3. And then wherever we see x here, right, we replace it with this 2x minus 3. Oh, sorry, I noticed by now we would have noticed our mistake. This is over 2. So this is over 2. Oh. So going over this again, we have x over 3 over 2. So this is over 2. It cancels out. So what we have left is x plus 3 minus 3. Oh, sorry. So we have x minus 3 plus 3, which is equal to x on this side. Then here, since we are just starting, this is 2x minus 3 here. This is f of x. Then for f inverse of x is all this, right? Is x plus 3 over 2. So we have that f inverse of 2x minus 3 is equal to, we have this, wherever we see x, that is 2x minus 3 plus 3 over 2. So this already cancels out because minus 3 plus 3 is 0. So 2x over 2. So the 2's cancel out. We have that this is also equal to x, just like we found here. So we have proved that f of inverse of f of x is equal to inverse of f of x.